righteous. Welcome back to Classic Conversations. This time I'm fresh, and this time that's Vic. I guess we just finished talking about Nike and all of those type of things. So, talking about spending money, it's only right that we transition that into the black dollar. Spending money outside of our culture, giving money away to others, when in fact we do not have the infrastructure to facilitate our dollar being recycled as much as, let's say, maybe other cultures. So black economics is kind of a hot topic of the day, especially when we start talking about certain things like Apple being able to, having the money, the capital to introduce their own payment system.
Right.
Now, you were telling me a little bit about that. I probably wouldn't do it justice, so you might want to just...
Yeah. Okay. So, basically, what I was telling you was that Apple's marketing revenue, I think that's what it was, the marketing revenue reached $1 trillion, which the value of their money is worth more than the U.S. government's money at this time.
Right.
So basically, with that being said, every major credit card company is funded by the government. So they're getting money allocated from the government, so they get regulated by the government. Cryptocurrency was supposed to be the first unregulated currency that the government could not track, stop, see where it's coming from, blase.
And when you say the government, you mean like the Fed, right? The Federal Reserve.
Yeah, Federal Reserve. So moving forward, now Apple Pay has introduced a physical card, which only way you can use it will be your thumbprint or your face. And what they're providing is they have the amount of money to not have to get government assistance. So they're using their own money, and they're basically saying they're loaning out their money. And this will be all the credits that they give you. So, for instance, the first example is every purchase that you make within the Apple network on your Apple product, you get 3% Apple Pay cash back. So that's like incentivizing you to use Apple products. So that's competing with the Spotify's, the Tidals, things like that as far as like streaming purchases go. Then you can send an unlimited amount of money every day, every week, any time of the day, whenever. And on top of that, it's global. So there's no limitation. So it just accomplished what cryptocurrency did, but the only thing that cryptocurrency didn't have was the starter capital for people to put in that much amount of money. They were banking on users to put in capital and the value of the crypto being zero. So after all that stuff being said, basically that's leaning more towards what Fresh was saying off camera, a cashless society. That's like a whole nother conversation. But on top of that, it just basically it's kind of like taking back spending power from individuals, because once something is controlled electronically, if it's being shut off or if it malfunctions, then as everybody else knows, I've seen people crying about Instagram and shit the other day. You can't use your shit, and it's just a malfunction until the shit gets fixed. So think about if all your money is tied up in the Apple shit, and the Apple shit malfunction one day, or it's a glitch in the update, or your phone just fuck up one day, and you can't put your thumbprint in there or your face print in, then it's like your money is fucked. And then you're going to want to break the phone and cuss out everybody at Apple, and they're going to tell you they can't do nothing for you. So just think wisely when it's coming to all this type of shit. I'm not about to go into real deep detail, but, come up with your own conclusions.
Yeah, it's just like that like when I was telling you about a couple other companies that control their fair share of their market, right? Mm-hmm. In this case, there was a company that controls 98% of theirs, and if therefore you're forced to use them if you're going to participate, right? And they're only their next competition is 2%, right? Which is nothing, right? You go use them, you might as well, you wasting money basically to go participate 2% when this other company controls 98%,
right?
And I was looking into it, and a lot of people had a had issues with them because if they decide that they don't want to do business with you for whatever reason, you now are pretty much just out in the cold because they control so much of that portion. So you're putting, like, the argument was being said, there was other explanations or other examples of other companies who control the larger shares of their their market, and what that control does to people. It pretty much puts the control in their hands, and you either have to play by the rules or you don't. And if they decide for whatever reason, a legit reason or not, they can pretty much, the other one was Amazon, I believe. And I'll say this one because this one was in the news. But with Amazon, some politician said, no, I don't know why Amazon still allows or sells movies that talk about anti-vaccinations, right? Which is, we all have a freedom of speech. We should all be able to talk about what we want to, whether we agree or whether somebody else agrees or not. Well, this politician put the pressure on Amazon, and Amazon decided, well, we're gonna comply and cut all the documentaries and all the books that were sold on Amazon that had anti-vax, messages, and I believe Netflix did, follow suit. And so because they own so much of the marketplace, Amazon, because nobody buys anywhere else, you buy online. For things like that, you definitely go to Amazon. The next competitor would be, maybe just, YouTube, and so.
And you can't really make money off of it like that. The same way you're going to make off Amazon, of course.
So then you end up with these corporations with so much power that they dictate and can say, who's going to be successful and who's not, because they own so much of the marketplace. And so that's my only fear, is that when you start putting your fundage in the hands of a major corporation, they get to dictate and say what you get to use it for.
Because the government can't even officiate what they're doing with it, because they're not getting no money from the government, because they're spending their own money.
And what they'll end up coming to do is they'll be saying, like, oh, we don't like this company, so you can't use your card here. You can't do this here.
Just remember how Costco was only taking MasterCard or some shit for a long ass time, or American Express or some shit like that.
Imagine if you're that company, that small mom and pop, and you don't comply with whatever it is. Now they say, well, we won't let people buy from you with this card, and now you're not successful. It's too much control in the power. In one hand, it's kind of Kanye, right? No one man should have all that power. It's like no one entity, whether it's corporation or government, no one establishment should have all that power. And that's my only fear with the Apple Card, is that it's a possible they can utilize that control. They can turn your stuff off, and you don't have no way to buy or sell.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Especially with these algorithms, they don't have enough people. It's really algorithms dictating whether or not you can use it or not, whether you violated something. So
I think that just leads into like the other half of the situation we were talking about, just speaking about like group economics and being able to thrive in your own community. Because say this does happen, like a cashless society and whatnot, still, if the cashless society goes, the same people who thrive right now, the Koreatowns, the Chinatowns, all that type of stuff, they still gonna thrive, whether it's a cashless society or it's a cash society, because they have a system of operations set up to where it's by default it's gonna win. And I think that, so I was talking to my boy who is Asian, and his parents own an embroidery store, right? So I'm like, do you guys just not embrace the idea of competition? Like, or where does the idea of competition come in? You know what I'm saying? And he was just telling me, like, when they got a family member that come from overseas, like, you may have competition with the store 2 blocks down, but that doesn't mean that, you know what I'm saying, you're going to talk bad about him outside of with your own people. You know what I'm saying? Like, to everybody else, that store just going to be just as good as my store. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to tell you to leave anywhere else off this block. On top of the fact that he was just telling me, like, or not even he was telling me, like, I came at him, like, for black people to succeed, I think that it's a notion that we all have to just collectively work together, when it's not even like that. Like, you can find your own group of friends or whatever it is within the community that you want to build with and that you want to put your dollars in with, so that when y'all see the corner store open up, instead of going to buy you know what I'm saying, some crazy shit, some brand new jewelry, go put that into, okay, that's going to be like damn near 6 months of rent, a year of rent. This money we going to spend on these chains and stuff like that. Let's open up a little convenience store, buy some food from the Smart and Final, put it in there and just flip it all out. That's the easy way to create income, but it's like we so much into individual competition. I feel like, you know, that shit is blinded.
Yep. I mean, like you said, it kind of go down to just the idea of the whole. We don't have a whole. We don't have a group mentality. We don't have a mentality where we see ourselves as an extension of one another,
right.
Where other peoples do, especially, you know, in LA, you got Little Ethiopia, you got Koreatown, you got Chinatown, right? And in these places, they recycle their dollar. Because they have they have a restaurant, then they have a supply store, and then they have a bank where they can go take their money as an alternative.
Get that loan for sure.
As an alternative, they don't have to just depend upon. They have those alternatives and those options because somebody decided, oh, I'm gonna open up a. We don't. But here's the thing: we don't have them always logistically right next to us. Right. But if you look, they're there. There's you know, Killer Mike. You remember he went to the store in Atlanta and found all kind of alternatives to toothpaste, to toothbrushes, to deodorant that were black owned, right? And they there if you want to look for it. We don't. Sure. A lot of times we don't look for it, but there's the site that we were talking about, Buy Black. We Buy Black. We Buy Black, right? And then they also have Buy the Block, right, where they talk about group economics and crowdsourcing. So they actually. Somebody will come up with an idea or say, hey, there's a spot here where we can open up a beauty supply, and then put up the facts and the figures, and people will go and invest, like from anywhere, online. We don't have to be accredited, nothing. You can go and invest in somebody else's idea. You know, they provide you with the business plan, obviously, but it's a place where black people can go and support each other, group economics, and actually end up with an apartment building or a complex where you're getting income now, where we got to start thinking about, you know, at very least, you know, if it's not about, you know, holding hands and saying kumbaya, at the very least it's about the dollar. You know what I mean? And
I'll also say, like, you know, I just want to make a statement, just a general statement, that we got to stop thinking paperwork is an evil thing and stop being scared of paperwork, because so often we used to, just as people, looking out for each other so much. And, you know, like the barter system, guns and butter, like my nigga Melvin talked about on Baby Boy, but it's not always about that. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're working with somebody maybe on a lower level and you trade in services, that's one thing. But when you get into a point to where it's like real business to be handled and there can be like real discrepancies and real money on the line, it's like, damn, why wouldn't you want paperwork into effect? Because that's just going to ultimately secure you. So I would say, like, don't be afraid of paperwork, one, because, and two, I think people be scared of that shit because it's so many words and they scared to really dig into what all that shit mean. But it's like, shit, I done been in situations in the county jail. I done been in the situations in my master's classes in college. You feel me? And in both situations, the number one thing emphasized is reading. You feel me? Reading and understanding the situation that you in and how to maneuver through that.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my mom used to always tell me that locks, and, you know, I'll explain how it pertains, but locks are to keep honest people honest, right? Obviously, if you want to break in somebody's house, a lock ain't gonna stop you. You drive a damn car through the window. You feel me? Like, whatever. If you want to get into somebody's shit, you break in. Do it. But a lock keeps honest people. You know, they can, oops, the door was unlocked. Oops, I'm gonna just, you know, it keeps honest. And that's what paperwork does. Paperwork is not just about, you know, oh, I'm being selfish. I'm just out for myself. Really, paperwork is established to make sure that everybody is represented in the legality of it, and make sure that everybody is getting a fair cut, because we got it contractually, it's signed, it's official, so everybody's obligated to be fair, and it keeps, you know, business partners, because if you don't have no paperwork, now people can change stipulations, say you said this, or nah, that's not what we said, we didn't, nah.
Or niggas get bullied and shit.
Yeah, paperwork keeps things fair, and that's how you have a long career or a long partnership with somebody, is by having paperwork. That way everything's already established, and it'll be fair going forward. And that's something that everybody else does except for us. We'll shake hands on it, and even though a handshake once upon a time was like word, was bond, but today niggas are.
And I just want to read the definition that Google gives you when you type in group economics. It says group economics is not new. Many communities in America practice this strategy. The Jewish community, Italian community, Asian communities all use group economics. It is a form of self-preservation.
Yeah, the Hispanics do it. Everybody does it except for the African American, because the Africans do it.
For
so
sure.
we can't just say black because
African American
African Americans.
Right.
Those of us whose culture started here out of slavery. We do not do it. And I'm not saying I'm not angry at us, because we have some roadblocks that were put in our way.
Right.
And then there were times we did it with Black Wall Street, the original Black Wall Street, where they bombed us when we did it. So there's an actual opposition to it, somebody that's actually opposing our ascent. Right. But we know we got enough information now, and enough people like me and you, and people that we surround ourselves with, to be able to at least show certain pockets of it. Look at Nipsey. You know what I mean? Look at Nipsey. He's showing that it's possible to put pride and ego aside and come together. Nipsey can do all that stuff by himself. He got the money to do it, but he does it with other people and empowers other people.
Right.
So, that's really what the black dollar, the black success really depends on the shoulders of the person sitting next to you.
Most definitely, 100%.
Really, absolutely does. So, you think about the black places that we patronize, right? Get Fresh, right? Grill Fresh, rather.
Grill Fresh,
with my boy E Double,
right?
I remember when E Double was doing catering for the Stars game and a couple other people. Right. I remember before that when he was doing brunches at Libertines, and before that when he was doing brunches at underneath his house.
Yeah.
Like there was a space underneath his house, because they had the plumbing place. Lived upstairs and would do like Taco Tuesday nights and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Underneath his house, and we would all come, and that's how he built up his money. Took this, built it up, then did that, built that up, and finally he gets to where
couple trucks and
all.
Lawson and West Boulevard.
So
got a Taco Mill.
Had
Sugar Booger. We just had on the show a couple episodes ago.
Sugar Booger.
Trap Kitchen.
Definitely.
Fries, man.
Yep.
Who else I got out there? Damn, the Blue Kitchen.
Blues Kitchen, yeah. When they just got him and was it All Flavor No Grease? Didn't they just get
it might be like a joint store.
Couple of them got
like
a brick and
I'm not sure exactly who it was, but I know they combined to get a nice little joint together.
Yep.
They just opened one about my house in Manchester and I think Cimarron. It's called that the shopping center right by Taco Bell where it used to be. It's actually the street up. It's actually down the block more. It used to be called Brother Darrell's.
Yeah.
So right next to Brother Darrell's, they opened up this place called Wings and Pot.
Okay.
So they got like loaded potatoes, loaded fries, chicken hot wings, all that type of stuff. So that's just some of the many that are opening up across the city and whatnot. But it's kind of like we got tired of eating so much processed food, and just got really trying to get back to eating real food out here, and then just trying to push this health is wealth movement. Trying to eat right for yourself and whatnot. Not saying you got to eat super healthy all the time, but at least get a real meal in your system.
And you also get tired of putting your money in the pockets of other cultures.
For sure.
In the hood, everybody that's in there doing business, at least prior to now, was of another culture. The cleaners, the liquor store, the beauty supplies, right? All of the business, even some of the beauty shops, right? Where, you have black workers, but the owner is not of that same ethnicity.
It's a black-owned beauty supply on Manchester and St. Andrews, and it's a giant. We are owned by black women right on outside of their advertisement window when they roll the gate down.
Yeah.
So you got that, and all the niggas out there that smoke weed and all the blunts and all that type of stuff. It's always a black man who got a smoke shop. It's a smoke shop on Manchester and 8th Ave. That's black owned. Go buy all your blunts and your lighters and all that type of stuff. Buy it from there, cause it's like that $10 y'all spend on a pack of backwoods every day. that's gonna add up, and you're gonna recycle that into your community at least. If you're gonna be ashing in your community, shit.
And I mean,
But-
even if you go back to the fact that we've always had, like, for instance, like a barbershop, right?
Right.
But, you know, I know that for a fact that when I watch my barber keep up with the times, you know, he has to go up on prices every couple of years, and the flack he gets, people, oh, now how could you go $5, G? I'm stop coming to you. It's like, we do that. We don't do that to nobody else. We
Right.
don't go to the mall and haggle nobody over no shirt. But if you, with your act right, and you say, this the price, a lot of niggas is going to say, hey,
Gonna
bro,
be tripping.
you know, hey, bro, can I get that homie deal?
I got
But-
homies in the league that ask me for free shit all the time.
And
Like,
that's
nigga,
crazy.
you make millions, dog.
And they'll go spend that money at
At the
Gucci,
club, nigga,
at
on
Louis.
hoes. Excuse my language. On females, like you said.
They'll put the money everywhere else, but in the pocket of somebody that they
Right.
fuck with for real, which is crazy. So again, on the other side of it, we have had establishments for all this time that we just don't support in the right fashion.
Right.
We always want to nickel and dime those that are actually do it in the right way, which is crazy because that could turn around and empower you back.
For sure.
Supporting them and get them on, that could turn around and help you get on.
That's gonna create the athlete or whoever's in power. That's gonna create their longevity because they need consumers as well.
Yeah, but even then, if we friends and I support you and you get on, I got an idea you might want to invest in that later. You feel me? Or if we up and you can help me get back. Jay-Z, that's what he was talking about. You know,
Right.
Hyman Roth, I made all my partners rich.
Right.
A lot of us don't have that mentality where everybody get to win, and that's how everybody continue to
Henry
win.
went to jail for what, 10 years?
Yeah.
And that's the shit he do now is ridiculous.
So, again, it comes down to support, like the level of support that we should be giving each other is minimal compared to the level of support that other cultures will give each other. And we got to catch up because if we screaming racism and we have the tools, then really
It's on us.
It's on us.
That's on us.
Because
for
we
sure.
do have the tools. It really starts with supporting each other, supporting your home first. Straight up. So, good conversation today. Definitely a classic, as the name stipulates. Nike and the Black Dollar. Again, just to kind of give people an example, you look at the hat to the left of me, Act Right.
Most definitely.
That's a brand that is definitely a quality brand that is worth every penny. Every penny that he asked for it. He's definitely out here really putting the hard work into coming up with good ideas, getting great quality materials, and he has a lot of good things coming: hats, hoodies, sweatsuits, shorts, all kind of stuff. Everything, bro, got everything. And so, if you're looking for something to support, I promise you, it's right there. Everybody knows somebody that's doing something. Go support them. But I promise, if you ain't got nobody to support this man right here. Obviously, the links will be in the description.
Right.
So check him out. Like we always say, comment, subscribe, like, tap in. But check it out, Act Right. And then a little bit later, Handcuffs and Handkerchiefs will be the brand that I will bring to you shortly.
Oh, yeah, it's
But
coming.
as of right now, what is established in there for people to support is Act Right. So we just ask that y'all support us and the podcast, Classic Conversations. Support Act Right when you need your hats, your clothing articles and whatnot.
Holla at your boy.
Yeah. So
Man, that was a sick plug right there. I appreciate that.
yeah,
Real talk.
all day, bro. So I'm fresh as always. It's Vic.
Boy Vic the Ruler. Holla at us. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. We
Classic
talking about your
Conversation.
favorite shit.
Yep. Till next time.